I think that the GACD is making a very important contribution, and I hope that I and the scientists who sit on the joint peer review panels are able to make a small contribution towards that. Well, it aims to achieve a number of things. Firstly, implementation science is quite new as a science, and so we're all learning how to do it. So funders are learning how to commission it, researchers are learning how to do it, and the users of research, the people who are going to put the research into practice, are learning how to construct research questions and then how to use the research results. So given we're all learning, it's a good idea to learn together, because the different contexts, the different communities, the different research questions all inform each other. Within the GACD, I guess in the first call there wasn't joint peer review. There was peer review, of course, because that's the standard for all funding agencies. So each individual agency assessed their own applications. In the second, third and fourth calls on diabetes, on chronic respiratory disease and on mental health, some of the agencies decided to get together so that they could learn from each other's experience and perhaps benchmark the quality of science coming from their research communities against the best. The first strength is being able to learn from each other. The second strength is particularly for countries where funding agencies where there hasn't been a lot of implementation science, they can see where they need to develop. And then the third strength is one that I think hasn't yet been realised in GACD, is that it would be possible to choose through joint peer review a strategically aligned set of projects. At the moment, funding agencies use scientific quality principally to prioritise, not assessments of strategic need. So they could do that through joint peer review if they wanted to. Well, for the funding agencies, they're assured that the quality of the science that they're putting considerable investment of public money into is good science, and it will be impactful science, that it will make a difference when the research results come out. For the researchers, I think the successful outcome only ever feels successful if you get the funding, if you get the money. However, even for those researchers that don't get funding, I hope that joint peer review gives a quality of feedback, general feedback, useful feedback on what researchers might do in the future to make their proposals better. For the proposals that are coming to the Global Alliance on Chronic Disease call, they're becoming more methodologically sophisticated. In the first calls, there were quite a few randomised controlled trials, and now we're seeing more what we call hybrid designs, where there are randomised controlled trials, so that's a study design where we're principally trying to find out whether something works, and we're now seeing researchers incorporating elements in their studies that tell us why it works, where it might work, who it might work for and who it might not work for, what sorts of staff, people, volunteers will need to participate in the research and so on. So we're getting a lot more diversity in our applications. GACD, I think, is making an important contribution to capacity development. People who take part in GACD studies are learning about implementation science. There's a conference every year where the active researchers come together to discuss how they're getting on, to try and seek solutions for their common challenges. I think this has been very important in developing capacity and implementation science more generally, particularly in countries either which don't have much resource or which haven't had a history of doing implementation science in the past.